Hey, YouTube Pager here, back with another episode of Coffee Streamers. With, of course, once again, we have brought back the always welcome DJ Parrish. She's always so much fun to have on. She has so much wisdom to bring in, and it's always just great to have her on. It's just, she's a blast. What can I say? I have the utmost respect for her. This time, we're talking about idolatry in gaming, which I know, like, how have we not had this discussion already? But when you think about it, it kind of makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. A great discussion, of course. We're going to have the link to DJ's channel below. If you're not already following her Twitch channel, check her out. So much fun. Pro at everything. She's the child genius. She's probably, if you're watching this right now, she's probably upset I'm saying it. But anyone who knows her, it's totally true. And if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more copies of streamers and more content from my Twitch channel, hit that subscribe button, get those alerts up, and you'll get notified anytime anything goes live. Thank you so much, guys. Y'all have a blessed day.
I do have a camera.
Okay,
Hello.
awesome. First things first,
It is
we got to give a shout out to AOG Armor of God Esports. Thank you for that retweet earlier, promoting, always supporting this channel. It is awesome.
Ayo.
So now, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in our guest officially today.
Yeah, officially bring me in. Come on, dude.
What? I am. I admit that. What's up, DJ? How are you?
I'm tired.
What are you tired for? It's Friday.
It's like I like went to bed at like what? Like 1 or 2 in the morning. I don't remember.
Why'd you go to bed so late?
As I couldn't fall asleep.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give it
I
that.
was
I've had
thinking about things.
I have
such.
those days. I went to bed at 1 in the morning too, but that's because I watched a scary YouTube video and it like kind of weirded me out, especially because I had to go outside after I watched a scary YouTube video, so that made it not fun.
You know, I trust in the Lord, so I don't really.
You're not wrong. I mean, there's some truth there. I never said I didn't trust the Lord, man. I never said
No,
that.
no.
It's just one of those where I'm like, this is scary. Hang on, I'm gonna move something real quick because I realize if you look on my stream,
Yeah,
my
I'm
camera's
looking at it.
yeah, my camera's totally blocking you, like totally. So I'm just
How dare
moving
you
it
block me?
over. You
You
know,
can move it to your side, like of the thing, and then you're
yeah,
gonna. Are you
I
on
should just put
PS?
it right over. Yeah, I'm on. I should just put it right over where the missing camera is. There, it actually looks like I'm streaming that way. That's what I just did. So
If you're on OBS, you can actually like click on the like, so like showing your whole screen, so you can like actually like, when when you like move something to like like change the size, you can press Alt, and if you do that, it'll like crop it.
oh
And you
yeah, I've
can
done that.
crop it to
Yeah,
just the.
yeah. I'm not gonna put through that much work because I'm very nitpicky like that, and I'll be here all day doing that. That's the OCD person in me,
Or
though.
you can just increase the size, like a whoop, so that it's like doesn't show the rest of the stuff.
I'm sorry. Can you do that one more time?
Whoop.
Okay, cool. Thank you for blessing us with that. I appreciate that. So, all right,
You're
guys.
welcome.
So let's get diving into the word today. So, DJ, thank you for joining us
Yes.
this lovely morning. So, I sent you
You're
the verse
welcome.
last night. I know you have. So I'm doing things a little different now. From this point
Yeah,
onward,
yeah.
we're gonna start. Wow, that was that was bright for me, dude. I had to readjust after that one. So here's the now the way I'm gonna start doing these. I'm gonna send people the verse the night before and be
Yeah.
like, hey, just kind of give me your thoughts, what you're thinking for the most part, how we're going to dive into it, especially involving streaming. And then also, we're going to put you on video. Sorry, folks, but if you're not a fan of being on camera that early in the morning, well, it is what it is. So, cool beats.
Imagine.
So, I know, right? Anywho, so I got my coffee ready. I don't know if you got yours, but we're ready to dive into it.
No, I do not have coffee.
Oh, juice box.
Shut up.
I knew it. Anyway, so the verse I gave DJ last night that we're diving into today is Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. So this is the verse, as y'all know, we start with one verse and we just go down the rabbit hole. It says, "You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation to those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love and keep my commandments." Thank you, DJ, for bringing that verse up there. So I was reading off the English Standard Version. So, in other words, today, in the world of gaming and streaming, as a Christian streamer, we're talking about idolatry. That's a big one there, idolatry. So, DJ, what is your
Yes.
opinion on that? Go. I know you have there's a specific reason why I called you for this one.
Yeah,
You and I
I
have
realized.
you and I have very similar backgrounds. For starters, thank you, Uncle Ezzy, for the follow. I realized I had that a few hours ago, so appreciate
Oh
that.
yeah, I told Ezra that I was gonna be here. So
Oh,
like, I
awesome.
told him about your channel.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Appreciate you. So, anywho,
Of course.
so you and I have very similar backgrounds. We grew up in, at least mine was Roman Catholic. I'm assuming yours is Roman Catholic as
Yep.
well. So there's a lot to do with that. So if you want to like, and then so let's kind of open the floor there. But then let's even apply that to like what we do on Twitch, the world of gaming. Like, what are your two thoughts there?
I mean,
You only get two thoughts though. I'm just
only
kidding.
two.
I'm just kidding. That's a big
What
one. I
the
know.
limit of my thinking. No, like, first of all, you walk inside my house. There's an altar. Like, that just tells you everything. Like, there's just an image there, and it's kind of. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I just disagree with parents in certain things, and I can't bring it up to them, and I feel like that's one of the most like annoying parts is that I can't bring it up. But it's not really my dad; it's more my mom. But like, they've rejected the gospel before, so I don't want to like force it upon them. But at the same time, it's rough, you know, because I don't know how to bring it up. I don't know when to bring it up. I don't know if I should. I don't know if I shouldn't. Like, it's just a big old question mark on how I should go about things. But yeah, idolatry is really big in Roman Catholicism, like with Mary and the saints and all that.
I think it's safe to say, like, when you think of like idolatry, just in general, and it's hard because you're bringing up a lot of good points. It's hard to bring it up, especially like just as a friend or as a family member stuff. But it's hard to bring up because idolatry is probably one of those like hidden things you really don't realize until someone points it out to you, and especially because it's so easy to fall into it and you never realize it. Like, you have no idea what's going on. Like, the first thing I can think of when you talk about when you enter my house, and this is where like, as you know, this is where we're going to kind of direct. Of course, we're going to go all over the place because that's what we do. But the first thing I thought of when you said you walk into my house, you see an altar, I thought, hey, I have an altar the minute you walk into my apartment too. It's called my stream desk. like when you look at a streamer's stream desk, let's be real. Like, ayo to all the streamers in the house right now, your stream desk is your your stream desk is your thing, man. Like, that's it. You don't have to. It's fine. But let's be honest. We take a lot of pride in our desk. We have spent like whole days. We spent whole days getting it just right. We have spent days like cleaning it up. Like, that's like a to-do thing for us.
Oh, have we? Wait, hold up. Hold up. Have we spent days cleaning it up? Are we talking serious right now? Look at this.
Oh, well, I mean, that we're not talking about the spot next to the stream desk. We're talking about the actual desk itself.
Yes, that would be true. Yeah.
Like, my to-do list for this summer was actually organizing my desk, buying some things to make it to where it's a little thing. Ayo, good morning, Lily PhD. Welcome to the chat. Blessed to have you here. You know the drill. Tell us your flex this morning. Salute us. I need a bigger desk. That is true. Russ just said it. I need a bigger desk. That's the thing we all agree. We always need more space on here.
Actually,
that's a
I'm
thing.
good with the space I have right now.
Oh no,
I spent some good money on this desk. I don't even want to admit how much.
I'm not gonna lie. Even just yesterday, I was like, what if I got like a little side table right here, just so I can move some things over to the side. So that's like that's just more room I can bring up. But that's like the thing you think about, and this is where like the world of streaming can kind of fall into its like own little like area of idolatry. Is like we take a lot of pride in just the things in our desk. Or something as simple as that, or like what's the next camera. Like, I think you would agree, of course, that it's really easy to fall into something like that. And just as much as it's here, it is anywhere else. Okay, here we go. We got another comment. Lily PhD. For her win for the day, I totaled my car. I replaced my total car pump. Dude, awesome. Congratulations. I remember you were talking about that. I'm super glad to hear that. You got to let us know. Okay, now the next part of that, you got to tell us what you're riding now. What's the big doctor riding around the streets now? You got to let us know. How's she rolling the streets of New Jersey? So, anywho.
They see me rolling.
They see me rolling. I
had to.
No, you're good. Yeah, we're all Weird Al fans. Yes, we're talking about Weird Al. We're not talking about the other thing. We're bringing in Weird Al or whatever the version he was is. So, anywho, but Yeah, like what are your 2 cents on that, DJ, when it comes to like idolatry and like the world of streaming and gaming in general? Like how is that? Like what is your thoughts on those?
I feel like it's really hard to find a balance because I feel like we could all fall like into temptation just like that.
Mhm.
Like if there's something that we really want, like an expensive mouse or a certain keyboard, certain lighting, the microphone. It's just there's a lot that goes into gaming that we can just try it in, and it's really hard to find a balance. But I actually have something that keeps me It's I have a picture of my family. Hold on, let me show you.
Mhm.
I have a picture of my family that I always keep like on my
Hey
desk.
yo,
That's my
is that
cousin.
is that
He
is
had
that little
cancer a while back, but he's big now.
is
That's
that
my
little DJ?
that's my mom. That's me. Yeah. We don't
Well,
talk about
for
that haircut.
yeah, for one, praise God, your cousin's okay. That's always awesome.
He's okay. Yeah,
Hey,
he was like 4. He's 9 years old now.
Ayo. So number one. So speaking of the idolatry conversation, Lily PhD just put got herself a Mercedes. Maybe this can play into it. You know, you're not wrong. That can be a thing. That can be something. But it really
And
depends.
it really depends on how you look at it. Like this can be considered idolatry, but it's not. You know, because I just think it's cool. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah. You see, and this is what's funny, and this is where like this whole topic can kind of like really, in my opinion, go deep. It's been a long time coming, in all honesty, because of like, especially as us as like guys who call ourselves believers in the name of Christ and call ourselves Christian streamers. There's some room for criticism there. There's some room for like, what does that mean?
100%.
And and we've all experienced. And if you haven't experienced yet, I hate to break it to you, it's coming. You're gonna experience someone who's
Yeah.
gonna challenge you on certain things. They're
Being
gonna,
alive also means you're in the spotlight. People are
yeah,
waiting for you to fall into the dark.
yeah. That is straight out of James chapter. Yeah, that's straight out of James right there. I think it's
Yeah.
chapter 3, verse 1. And that's the big thing. Like I mean, I would never do it because I'm a Star Wars guy and I'm a comic book guy. So I think
I'm
those.
wearing a Star Wars shirt. Let's go.
Oh yeah, look at that. You're repping today. Like that's the thing.
I'm
So,
vibing.
but yeah, that you're totally vibing. But that could be easily.
I remembered. I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna be on Pedro stream. I gotta look like a nerd, so I just put the Star Wars shirt. I put the lights on, you know, everything.
I mean, I don't know what what that's supposed to mean. Like, I mean, just because I got
Dude, you
Funko
have
Pops behind
pop
me.
Figures in your background. Like, look at your background. Just look at you. Look at you. You represent a nerd.
I'm wearing pajamas right now. Like,
Sweatpants.
I mean, yeah, that's what pajamas are for me. They're just joggers,
Okay,
and I put
okay.
a sweater on.
You know, like,
But
I was considering putting on my tuxedo just for today.
that maybe I should do that one day. Like, maybe that should be one. Like,
just to be funny, I was like consider putting on a tuxedo, like a nice tie, still a tie for my dad, you know.
that'd be funny. Maybe if I ever get
That'd be
like
funny.
FBI Joshy or Sticks on here, that's what we'll do. We're like our evening tuxes at 10:30 in the morning just to see like.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh yeah,
Let's
totally.
do
So
summer run.
yeah, but anywho, so like, but yes, we're talking about all the things, and that's something we think about, especially like when I first started streaming, and I realized this word came into my mind when I was talking about when I was redoing my whole setup this summer. Immediately, I'm like, ooh, that monitor rise is really nice. That one has
Ooh.
USB stuff. Ooh, wait a
Mm.
minute, hang on. There's a holder I can get for my router over here as well. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I need new lights. So suddenly, like, I found so much focus into like getting my stream desk. Like, and of course, it's gonna go beyond the stream desk. Of course, I'm just bringing that up because I know
Yeah.
we're all gamers. We take pride in our desk, but like these are like the things that we could kind of fall into. And we won't even talk about the big one, of course. That's the numbers. That's a big one there. We've all fallen
Bruh,
to.
that's the
We've
numbers.
all fallen into it at least once or twice.
Yeah.
Even like
100%.
yeah, one reason why I want to talk about this one because earlier this week, which I'm not dogging anybody. In fact, I am really happy to see what God has done this week. Last 2 weeks, for obvious reasons, my numbers have been fairly low, like by a drop. I mean, a drop. They've been low. And I was like, man, what's going on? Is it the game I'm doing? Like, I normally play this game. It's fine. Is it like something I'm wearing? What am I doing? And then I remembered, wait a minute. There's a massive charity stream going on that
Oh,
like
yeah.
everybody is doing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which I'm not dogging it. I'm not dogging it. And I just had to remember, okay, like, and this is where Dabster and I were talking about it. It's like, you know, we would rather have viewers go and take part for you guys because I didn't take part in the charity stream. Well, hello. Hey, go away. We don't need to see that. I need an update.
Okay,
I
bye.
know that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, good one. So, yeah, like I would rather viewers go that and do something and take part in something that's much greater than themselves than me. Like, I didn't take part in a charity stream. Well, I mean, I took part. I was watching you guys do it. Well, I honestly, the only reason I didn't is because I thought it was invitation only. I didn't realize it was sign up. So I was like, oh, well. So and that's why when I see like you, Shades, Nash the Gamer, Redfire, I'm like, these guys make sense. I'm still small time streamer here, so
yes, but that doesn't mean that you like. And I didn't get invited like, hey, join. I got invited like, hey, this is a thing, like wink, wink, nudge, nudge type of thing.
Yeah. I found that out later. So anywho,
they like whispered me like, hey, yo, this is a thing, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You should join.
Yeah, maybe one day a charity stream is something I definitely want to do sometime in the future. But that is a thing. Hey, yo, Sinus Preya, welcome, my friend. It is good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well, man. Hey, you got to tell us your flex for the day. How are you killing it this morning? How are you just starting your day off as a win? That's going to be like the new thing I tell everybody from now on. Buckle up, everyone. So
Sinus came in, and I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about like we're talking about idolatry in the in the Christian gaming community.
But specifically, what were we talking about?
Well, I was talking about the charity stream. I was talking about, of course, the big one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, the big one that comes down to is numbers. And really today, let's be honest here. Like when it comes to streaming in general, like especially as a Christian streamer, it's so easy to fall into idolatry because there's so many things you can fall into. Yep. It's the gaming you can do too, just being like getting a chance to escape and play into gaming. There's the numbers aspect you can fall into. There's the the gear aspect that you can fall into. There's of course, one I saw recently, which I didn't know was possible, but trust me, it's possible. It's the being attached to the label of being a Christian streamer rather than actually being a Christian streamer, putting on the image of making sure, being obsessed that you're doing that rather than actually like using the time to like disciple people. It's just kind of doing it. Like there's a gateway of things. Like idolatry is one of those like massive things. And this is where I was gonna like really how do you really fight it? Of course I have my ways, of course. How do you really how do you keep yourself from falling into that? That's a huge one.
Well, I haven't had the one where you kind of get attached to the Christian streamer tag just because I was share the gospel on Twitch. Like that keeps me really accountable. Like this is how I came to know Christ, so I want to be that person for others. Mm-hmm. And I of course don't want to like force it into people either. That's why I actually had to cut down like so I have a timer. It's called a timer. Like it'll drop the gospel message in the chat, but I cut it down to an hour instead of 30 minutes because it was too much. Like I noticed it was too much. Like it was just being on people. I didn't want to like put it down people's throat. You know what I mean? So like I felt like I had to like cut it down because I was sharing the gospel like every 30 minutes, which it's a lot. It's because it's like 4 times per stream, even more. So I had to cut that down. But besides that, I can't say the numbers is a big thing. That's a thing that I like the past few weeks, I would say, I've been struggling with. But I honestly had to remember why I started streaming in the first place. This was before I was a Christian, but it's just because I'm getting caught up in the numbers just because it feels like a job. It feels like something that I have to do. But at the same time, I started looking back on why I started streaming, which was to have fun. 13-year-old me didn't start streaming to make it a job. 13-year-old me started streaming because 13-year-old me thought it was fun to flip the Iceberg Club Penguin. I wanted to share it with people. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to... That's what I want it to be like. I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be a job. I don't want it to be something that I'm forced to do. I want it to be something that I want to do. I want to share the gospel. I want to be a light for others in Christ. That I want to, be a light for others. I want to be there. So that's kind of how that went down. And what else was I gonna say?
It kind of goes back to, I think we did this 2 weeks ago. We did one of these with Dabster, and of course you joined in as well. We talked a lot about like taking care of yourself and like taking time away from that. I think the minute you said you want to, that kind of, this is where I noticed the idolatry trap coming in, at least for me, is when I don't want to, I feel like I shouldn't, but I'm like, no, I need to. Like I need to, and that should be normally that can be a red flag. Normally that's kind of a red flag of like, am I in the right peace of mind and stuff like that? Is this a good time to do it? And and that's where it's so hard. That can be hard. Yes, we're going to talk about a little bit of the supernatural side here, and I'm not saying this is always the case, but like sometimes there are days where you're just like, I don't know, and it's really tugging on you and you really don't have much of an excuse not to. and you do it and you turned out having a great stream, you have a great conversation, you interact with some great
Yeah.
people, and you really felt like God used you in that moment. And that's
Yeah.
where and this is where it's going to get complicated, because how do you discern that? How do you discern that from just like not, or just like, oh, I want to because I need to keep the numbers up? Like, how do you know? And that's always so difficult for me. And that's where like one of my go-to things I do right away, this is me personally, take it with a grain of salt, of course, is one of the first things I do is I value my day. I'm like, okay, is it just because I'm just sleepy today and I don't want to, or I don't want to because I have other things that I have to do? Like, for example, I took a month off streaming because I had to work on finals. I fell behind in school. Behind, more like I just didn't read a bunch of books I needed to read. So I was like, okay, these are things that probably need to be a priority, so I'm going to do those instead. Or there's other days where I'm just like, I just want to sit and stare at the wall. Days like that. So one thing I always do is I take like 20 minutes before the stream, of course, when I start and I'm loading everything up, I'm always like, okay, Lord, I open it with prayer just for myself.
Same.
I open with like, Lord, I'm like,
Yep.
I just pray, good or bad, regardless of it, that your glory is manifested. Whether it's one people or one person, not one people, one person or 15 people or 7, whatever the number is, I pray that your glory is manifested, whether it's me or not, whether it's someone who's been here all the time or a first-time user, because at the end of the day, you don't need me to do your thing. God doesn't need me to do things. He can shine with or without me. That's just the reality of it. It's like, but I pray he uses me regardless of how I'm feeling or how I'm doing. And at the end of the day, AK, just let him do his thing. And of course, I do my best. I always try to. And, whatever happens, which it's always been good. Praise God. I've had a lot more good than bad incidences. Even like I say, because I think it was like a week ago, there was a day where I'm like, it was literally just like, I just kind of want to sit and watch TV, but I scheduled a stream. I announced it. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do it. And I ended up getting in a really fruitful conversation. I think you were there for that, DJ. It was someone who asked about the concept of hell. And yeah. And suddenly 180 on me. I'm like, hello. Now this is what we're here for. This is what brought us into this.
Yeah.
And it sucks. I was playing a very intense game and I felt like I really couldn't. But the biggest blessing was that you, Dabster, Shades, all you guys were immediately there to jump in, which once again shows the power of the Christian community on Twitch and how they're just doing their thing. So always a cool thing to do. But that's just me. I don't know, like, if you have different things, feel free to share like your 2 cents on that. I know that was a lot.
I do the same thing as you. Like, I open up with prayer. But I have little moments that remind me of why I do what I do. Like you said, like that moment where you had this conversation with someone. Moments like that. But for example, Max, and Max knows this. Max is a younger one. We'll say that he's a younger one, and I met him around a year and 4 months ago, and he just came to play. And then we kept playing, like we play here and there, but we never really formed a friendship. It was just more like oh, you want to play? Okay, sure, we'll play. And we never really talked about anything else. But recently, by recently, I mean like 5 months ago, he joined in when I was having a really bad day. I had to deal with someone in chat who would say something inappropriate. And this someone was also one of my friends, so I was like kind of like upset at them, like, why would you do that? I was having a really bad day, and this kid comes in, and he's just dropping jokes. He's just making everything 100% funnier, and he's just making me laugh. And I was like, dude, this is what I want to be. I want to be like this kid that's making me laugh, even though I'm having a horrible day. So like, it's just moments like that where, Max has just showed me what I want to be like in some way. Like, he reminded me, because I laugh a lot. I like laughing, and I like making others laugh. That's kind of what I do. It's a weird gift, but I like that gift. You know what I mean? And it's just moments where he's like, recently he was having a bad day, and I didn't know this, but I made him laugh, and he kept laughing, so it seemed like it was normal. But then he messages me later that night, and he goes, "Hey, I was having a really bad day, but you made me smile. Thank you." And just that thing just keeps me going. And like, I had this moment in my Discord that I asked someone, "Hey, how are you?" Because like, someone talked to my Discord, and they said, and I quote, "Today of all days, I really appreciate being asked that. and then they said what they were going through, and we were able to talk amongst each other. We were able to. He was like, "You got me pumped. You made me smile." You know, like just stuff like that. I like making people smile. I like encouraging people. I like reminding them of the light that is Christ.
Oh
And I've
yeah.
talked with Max about Jesus before, and he knows it, but he doesn't want to talk in depth about the gospel, and that's fine. Like I don't want to shove it down his throat again. He's my friend, and I'm gonna be there if he ever has any question. And he knows this. He's asked questions before, but yeah, that's kind of what it's like. He's
I
awesome,
gotcha.
dude. Like I always say, Max is one of my best friends, and he really is.
That's always good. We got a comment here. Epic Woody says Max's poggers. Send his
It-
prayers. Working on the creativity workshop for Mike Sharp. Bro, that's your zone, man. I mean, that's your thing. I wanna hear you tell me that you're telling him what you're doing on Twitch. I want to hear you say that, man. That's the thing here. So I've interacted with Max a few times. I think I've come into your streams. He's awesome. He's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I think.
He's really cool.
Oh yeah, I think most of us can agree. Most of us are, online streamer stuff. It's always the small convos that kind of keep us going. It's the little signs that God is moving that does it. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like the numbers thing. Let's be honest here. It's never gonna go away. If you're a Christian streamer, if you haven't experienced your obsession with numbers yet, buckle up. It's gonna come. It happens. It's gonna come and go in season.
I recommend turning off the viewer count. Dude, that helped me so much.
We got Wordy up here. Max be pretty crack. We're
Hi,
doing
Sid.
well, man. We're talking about idolatry in the world of gaming. That is the idolatry. We're talking about idolatry in the world of gaming and how we respond to it as streamers. Because let's be honest here, this whole platform of Twitch gaming and everything, it's it's a trap for it. It really can be. Especially, I can't remember who said it. Someone said it best a while back. It's like when you look at Twitch in general, it's such a every other streamer outside of it is about me. Is about look what I'm doing. Look at this. But every one of us who proclaim to be the name, Christian streamers who are trying to reflect glory onto Christ on a regular basis, we're looking to do, we're different. We're not pointing it to ourselves. We're pointing to a higher power here. But there's so many little traps here and there. And we're talking about streaming, but that's so applicable to every day. Like Lily said a second ago, it's like, I just bought a Mercedes. That could be a thing of idolatry. I'm not going to lie. I was obsessed with my car at one point. When I bought my first actual car, with my money that I earned, oh man, that thing was the sharpest and cleanest I'd ever had it. That's a thing. Let's see, Sinners. It's been awesome being able to minister to people who come in. It has been. That has been one of the biggest blessings of just interacting with people on a regular basis.
Wow.
The conversations I've had on Twitch compared to out in a street corner are more. And I'm going to be honest, and I'm not saying this method is superior to sharing the gospel, but I definitely feel like I've shared the gospel on here more than I ever did. Like when I used to be in youth, I'd stand on a street corner. I teach my kids how to do that, or I do active evangelism groups. I felt I've had more fruit here than I ever did doing that. And I'm not dogging those who do active that. Like that, some people are called to something differently. Like I have a friend, she does door-to-door door knocking in a neighborhood with some refugees, and I think that's totally great, and I think she should continue doing that. But some people are more effective in different things, and that's just me. So yeah, so I went on a tangent there, and I forgot to breathe.
I do feel like it's easier to do it on Twitch, not only because we're not in front of the person, but the other person also doesn't feel pressure to respond. And I feel like that's a big thing, especially in introverts, that you don't have to talk, you have to just type. And typing is a lot easier than talking. And talking online is a lot easier than talking in person. You know what I mean? So it's
100%.
allowing people to ask something without, for example, me knowing their face, but they can see my face, so they feel comfortable. But I can see their face, so if they say something and they don't agree with it, they can just leave, and I won't know, and I won't know who they were or who they are. You know what I mean? So they feel
definitely
free to just say things.
Yeah, 100%. I remember, and even then, the typing is first. When I first discovered what Twitch was, and I found a streamer I was tuning into, it took me probably a month to actually send my first message out there. Do I really want to do this? And now, I'm friends with that person, so it's all good. So definitely, we got a couple comments here. Wordy7A says typing is way, way easier. 100%.
Yeah, you see, it's funny because Seth is the one that used to struggle with talking in voice chat.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And recently he did a face reel. That's insane.
Oh yeah, the good Dr. Lily says streaming is much more relational than I ever realized, and very introverted people feel safer, especially as far as viewers. I I agree 110%.
Dude, I'm one of those people. Hi, I'm an introvert. I don't talk IRL like at all. Like if we ever meet up, you'll see me being quiet because that's who I am. Like I don't talk like at all.
I'm not
Like
gonna lie.
I went to chess club for 5 months and I didn't say a single word. Like my mom had to say my name for me.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. What you see is what you get here. Like you see me outside the streaming desk. That you're gonna get that. Just to I'm just as I know I'm old. I'm still sassy. I'm sarcastic. I'm all sorts of things. I'm witty. I'm gonna be difficult for the sake of being difficult. Even like I play a lot of horror games. I watch a lot of horror movies. Like what you see outside the stream is what you get. There's no difference here. The only difference is you see me outside the stream. I might have a guitar or something in my hand because hashtag worship leader life. But yeah, that's about it. But yeah, you're.
I'll have one of these in my hands.
Oh, Rubik's Cube. That's definitely a thing. But I think that's the thing too. Is like very introverted people feel safer. And something I believe, especially when it comes to like something as simple as sharing the gospel, doing the gospel message up, which I think I'm just gonna throw it up just because I can right here. For those of y'all don't know,
gospel means good news. The bad news is we have all sinned and deserve the wrath to come. But Jesus the Messiah died for our sins, was buried, and then raised on the third day according to the scriptures. He ascended to heaven, and right now he's seated at the Father's right hand. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. The time is fulfilled, the kingdom of God is at hand. Repent and believe in the gospel. And that's the gospel message.
You missed a word.
Any questions?
No, I'm just
Please
kidding.
let us know. I didn't
yeah, of course. As always, that is the thing. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. We got a bunch of people here to talk about that kind of thing. But I love that because of, like, let's say someone puts it up in there and we miss it or something like that. For one, we have people in the chat. I normally have other believers in the chat who are willing to back that up, like you, Dabster, Shades, all those guys. But number two, I believe in the aspect of throwing seeds, where, sometimes you're going to throw seeds. You may not get a response. That's one of the parables Jesus talked about there. But it takes root, and sometimes it takes time, but they're being exposed to it. And as long as they're repeatedly being exposed to that, that could lead to something. That could, especially like introverts who just maybe tuning in. There's probably people who come to my stream every single week and I've never even seen their name or nothing like that. You never know. But the minute like they're repeatedly exposed to that, that could take work. That could. And I think something that is really encouraging for a lot of us as Christian streamers up there. I'm kind of having thoughts about the actual term Christian streamers, but it is what it is. But what he says, thank for both for faithfully proclaiming. Hey, amen, man. That's what we're here for.
Bro.
Yeah, that's what we do. But something that is bringing me a lot of peace every time is when I stream, there very well could be a chance someone may accept Christ and I may never know about it. That very well could have happened to all of our streams. Someone could have accepted Christ. Someone could have heard the message, found their pastor or someone like that, had a conversation, and we may never know about that. And that's okay. I don't do it for the glory of that. I don't have a counter of how many people I, got to know Christ on my stream. I don't have a counter of how many times I share the gospel up there. I don't do that. But the fact that that is a possibility and is enough to bring me. Oh, I'm not putting it up. Okay, I'm not gonna put that up. We got Russ. He says I'm a very quiet person in large groups. Oh wow, look at that.
Maybe info. Forgot help.
It's fine. Let's not bring up my stats. Okay, I think we're okay.
Info. Hey, that's my info.
Yeah. Next thing you know, it'll be like how many viewers you get? None. Like something ridiculous like that. So or just something crazy or something along those lines. But either way, those are the things that like encourage me. So like now let's talk about the other side of that. The other trap that's very visible. I don't think a lot of people realize it. In IRL, in the real world, there's a thing called I know, in the real world. And when for those of y'all that are afraid to leave your apartment, I'm not one of those. No, I don't do that. So, now everyone's looking up their info now. This is great. I love this. So, that's awesome. Lily PhD, tell us your thoughts. I even struggle with Christian tags sometimes, but people have found me through it, so it's tough.
It really is tough.
The Christian tag, it's a word he said, what, outside? So, I have a lot of mixed feelings about the Christian tag. I think it's better to keep it because some people are looking for good friendly content. Some people are looking at that. Now, here's something why I like it, unless there's Bubba involved. Oh my gosh, DJ. So here's why I personally like the Christian tag. because let's say it's one of the rare occasions. I've been very blessed. I've met a lot of great people on Twitch. I've met you, DJ. I've met Lily. I've met Sinners. I've met Shades. I've met Dabster. I've met a lot of great people. Redfire Trevor, BG Gilbert. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, Gilbert, of course. It's very rare that I go online on Twitch and I find I can't, and there's nobody I know online, so I can't rate them. So I'm like, where am I going to send my community to? How am I going to do that? That's why I love the Christian tag, because it's granted, yes, anyone could do the Christian tag. I have definitely rated someone with the Christian tag, and I'm pretty convinced they weren't a believer. They were illegally streaming a TV show. I kid you not. They like flipped the image, and I realized, oh my gosh, what did I do? And I sent like a message to all my viewers individually. Like, I am so sorry. Yeah, like I cannot believe I did that. That was so awkward. But
yeah, I got a proof check.
Yeah, I know, right? So like, but it does work. Like, for example, Lily PhD, she's been found through the Christian tag fairly recently. Like, that's awesome. But at the same time, like, I don't want people to feel like they can't come in just because I put that tag on. But that's like either or anyway. Like, there's some people who don't put the Christian tag and they talk about the gospel very openly. And I think that's great. That's awesome. But, you know, it's a 50-50. So I feel like there's an argument both sides of the coin. It really kind of depends on that. But I personally think it's a good idea to keep it on, mainly because I want people to know that it's okay to send their community to my stream. Now, granted, my game choice might say something different, because I'll probably be playing like Visage or Resident Evil yeah, something like that. So, but that's something I think, like, that's why I keep it on, because I want people to know, hey, even though I'm playing these scary games, I'm still going to talk about Jesus. I firmly believe be a light in the darkest place, even if I'm crying in there, man. Like, well, Resident Evil doesn't make me cry, but there have been some ones that got me pretty ugly. But that's a whole other stream in itself, talking about game choice right there. So, but I think Lily brought up a good point, is like the Christian tag can be one. Like I said, we were talking about going outside of our apartments. The culture Christian is a thing, where it's people who are so focused on looking like the part, like, especially like for some reason Christians have their own idea of fashion. Like, I want to look like I do this. Worship leaders, I want to have the skinny jeans, the Taylor guitar, and the nice hair and all that. But there's very little like work going on the inside. Like, believe it or not, I believe that could be a form of idolatry, where it's like, I just want to look like this part, so all these people come to me. Like, I don't know if you've experienced that, DJ. You can feel free to give your 2 cents there.
What?
I was talking about the
you were talking about clothing, and then you asked me for my opinion. I'm like, what?
Well, I was talking about the culture Christian. Have you heard of the culture Christian?
No.
Okay, well, we got a couple things.
Help.
Let's see, Sinner's Prayer. The fun part is when they find out you're a pastor, they assume our pastor's all dressed up with a suit and tie. So
when Sinner's Prayer, like, when you walk in, he's like greeting you with tacos and stuff, and oh yeah, I'm a pastor. It's like, what?
I love okay, for those of y'all, we can even shout out to Sinner's Prayer, man. For those of y'all who've never checked out this, okay, she's got me. Thanks, DJ. For those of you who've never checked out this guy's channel, if there's a guy who can make you feel welcome more than anybody else, Sinner's Prayer's the dude. Of course, DJ's got to give herself a shout out. Sinner's Prayer's the guy who does it. He puts the button. He's like, everybody, welcome to the chat. So and tacos are falling like confetti. Like, I remember the first time I tuned in, I was like, man, I feel like I've known this guy for ages, and I only met him like yesterday. He is like, so if there's a guy who makes you feel welcome, Sinner's Prayer is it. No, don't stop, man. You do your thing. I love it. I really love the way you do it. So, and it's funny, he brought up, like, they found out you're a pastor. My pastor, church plant life, same thing. He wears like the t-shirts on when he preaches, jeans, stuff like that. He doesn't wear a suit and everything like that. That's not his thing. So it's so funny you brought that up.
Ayo.
So, ayo, who we got coming in?
Josh.
I'm at work. I came in to say hi and then leave.
Hi, Josh.
You're good,
Love
brother.
you.
It's good to see you.
We can now say that I've been in a streamer's chat.
Oh, yo, yours is coming, man. Don't you worry. Yours is coming for sure.
Yeah.
Everyone, give it up for FBI Joshy, the one, the only, the man who, one of the nicest people online, who always reminds everyone that they are loved on a regular basis. His gamer tag and BattleNet is literally Joshy loves you. And there he goes.
Bye.
There he goes. So give it up for FBI Joshy, everybody. So anyway, so something I was talking about before we had to go on was the idea of it's called a cultural Christian. That's what it is. It's basically someone who just is more obsessed with like looking like they're going to church, There's like this idea of like dressing like a Christian. I don't know where it came from, but that's a thing. Of like looking like they're the kind of person who, and this is not a bad thing. Of course, some of them love to like put Instagram of them doing their quiet time. It's so focused on looking like they're Christian that they're not really letting God do work in their lives. Some other thing like that. That's a real thing here and there. And you know, and I feel like personally, especially as Christian streamers, that can be a thing. That could sometimes be a thing that we fall into, is like, oh, I just want to be a Christian streamer without really letting God work on our own personal lives as well. Man, this is why I love the topic of idolatry, because it's such a gateway to just about everything. I don't know if you know what that is, Kathy, or if you've experienced that at all.
Nope.
Oh wow,
I mean,
it just?
I've experienced people like overall like pretending to be Christians when they're not. Like I've seen that, but I have not seen like a stereotype of clothing or something like that. Like that's weird.
It changes from year to year. It's just kind of dumb, in all honesty. And it's like, that's good. Yeah, it's a real thing, believe it or not. It's called a cultural Christian. It's one of those things. One of the big stereotypes with it, which I'm gonna call myself out here, is they're like, oh yeah, Christians, they drink coffee. Like, which I mean, everybody drinks coffee, so I feel like that's kind of not fair for the most part. So here we go. The good doctor brings in societal pressure sometimes. I definitely experienced that in the Bible Belt. That's why I know, because I live right in the heart of the Bible Belt, so that explains it. It's like Bible Belt. It's here in New Jersey too, just more in the actual church scene. That's a good way to put it. Okay, that's what I've seen it. Church Chad is a new term I've heard. I have never heard that. The Church Chad. What? That is hilarious. That is great. I love that. Weird. Yeah.
I'm scared.
So yeah, now I kind of see why I've never experienced it, because I know you've talked about how there's not a lot of churches in your area. So I live in.
I haven't seen a single church like in my entire city.
Over here in the States, I live in the heart of the Bible Belt, aka Texas, which that's a huge part. That's probably it. I live in the DFW Fort Worth area, which is like the belt buckle of the Bible Belt area, which basically means there are churches everywhere. You go down the street, there's one. There's literally one right over there on that side and on that side. Like, there are churches everywhere. So that's a huge thing, and very active in the church scene, which that's normal, of course. You see a lot of people just kind of like going through the motions. That's a good way to describe it. People just go through the motions, but they aren't really like, there's not a lot of fruit that you kind of see go with their lives. I see a lot in the worship scene, and I think it's very possible here. I've seen it a couple times here. Like, I love, in my spare time, I love scouting out other channels. Like, I'll go through just the Christian tag and see who's out there, kind of see what's going through the thing. And I think that's definitely something that you've experienced. People who just kind of put the Christian thing up there. They kind of throw in their Jesus tag every so often, but it's not really a thing. I think that can kind of be a form of that. It just kind of look the card. That's one of those things. It kind of goes down to just the numbers thing and the idea just wanting to be part of this like Christian thing that God is doing. Okay, we got Sinas. I live on the end of the belt. That is true. Florida, the end of the belt. That is definitely a thing over there. I actually didn't. Oh yeah, that's a huge thing over in the southern. It's a huge thing in the southern part of the states. It's if you ever end up here, you'll see what I mean. Like, you're like, there's no churches in my area.
Over there.
Really?
Yeah, twice.
I didn't know that.
I wasn't a Christian when I was.
That's fair. But yeah, you'll see it. You'll be like, there's churches everywhere around here. Like, how do you guys know where to go? How do you pick one? Like, how do you pick a church to go to? Well, the internet does wonders. That's all things. So we got a comment from Wordy. I've seen a few streamers with the Christian tag, and they definitely were not a Christian. Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, it's a
thing.
thing.
The good doctor says, I realize there's almost like a political party in those areas, a way too moral. Oh, boy. She jumped in on a great area here. The moral area, the I'm bigger than you kind of thing. We got Sinner's Prayer. You know that? I've seen the Christian tag on some streams, and I stopped by and check it out, and I found myself questioning them. That's a thing. Like I said, there was a channel I rated where they were illegally streaming a show, and I was like, what? I didn't even know. I just thought they were watching TV. And one of my viewers who messaged me, he goes, no, dude, he's like, I speak the language they were talking. They were totally illegally streaming that. I was like, wow, that's insane here and there. But yeah, I feel like that is a thing. But Lily said something interesting. It's like the political party of like, the I'm more moral thing. I am this, I am above you. Like, one of my biggest issues, and I'm not even gonna talk about like being a gamer with a Christian tag or anything, just part of being a believer, one of my biggest things is the moral game. That is like, who do you think you are? It's one thing if you're kind of like trying to disciple somebody in private, like one-on-one, that's one thing. But if you're like out in a group of people and saying like, do this because or something like that, that gets to me. That's one of those like, I'm better than you kind of things. And so I do believe there's some good intentions, but we got to reevaluate our approach, if you know what I mean. We got to reevaluate how we reach people, especially because in today's day and age where the internet's so big, it's so easy to find out things about people. We're kind of tired of the righteous game, especially because there's so many pastors in the past, and especially here in the States, they've been so big on, look at me and look what I've done. I'm so great. I'm a nice person. I'm moral. I have a greater thing ahead of me. And then a huge scandal falls on them, and there's that insane fall from grace that happens, and people get burned by that. Like, I don't think anybody realized the impact that happens. Like, that's why people are leaving the church personally. All right, we got a couple of things. Epic Woody, I seen someone had the Christian tag and also a Satanist tag.
What?
Oh, dang. That's scary. That's concerning. You know what that tells me? That tells me I just want people in my chat. I don't care. That's what that tells me.
Yeah.
That says I want people in my chat. That is if I ever have that in my tag, that means somebody hacked my channel or I've clearly gone off the deep end. So let's see. Sinner's Prayer. I hate the denomination put down. I've seen so many shoot blast other people's denominations. Oh my gosh. That's a big one. That one's hard because like when you get into the theological debates, that's a hard one, but I'm with you there. Like, I'm very big on, like, especially I'm gonna do exactly what sinners just don't do. I'm gonna talk about the my school for a bit there, and I'm trying to be different. I've gotten in a lot of trouble. Like, I think Shades one time said they new girled me one time because they were so busy talking about how high and mighty they were just because they belonged to this denomination and how they were great and how they were trying to be pastors one day. And I said, and they just kind of wanted my opinion. They're like, well, what do you think, man? I said, well, I'd rather focus on discipleship. I go, I could care less about making connections. I could care less about climbing up the ladder. I want to disciple people. I care more about that than this. And if that means I spent the rest of my life unemployed, so be it. And immediately I was like blackballed at my school for like a week. Now, the plot twist was I had no intention of spending time with those guys, so it really didn't mean much. But like that's a real thing, Sinners. That's a huge thing. Like, I'm one of those where it's like, hey, like, how about instead of like drawing the lines where they are, how about we just look at, like, let's look at what scripture says. Let's follow what the Bible says. And let's also see this is a personal thing, of course. Like, I have no issue with any of the people in the chat right now. Like, I know all you guys are great because of the conversations I've had with you. Sinners, you've brought in some great points multiple times we've done this stream, and that's how I trust you. It's a thing that we've developed. But there's no reason. There's never been any point of, like, put down. There's never been any point of, like, blasting the decision we made. I think the only person I've actually talked about that with is, like, FBI Joshy, but that's because he and I come from, like, similar backgrounds of, like, very similar denominations. So that's just he and I in private, but that's a thing. That's why I stopped following certain streamers. Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. There's definitely been some on Twitter who I've seen who've definitely been very much. But, man, I went on a huge rant there. I went on a rant there. That's a thing. So we were talking about idolatry.
Yeah. So anyways, it's idolatry,
Yeah, I know. I think there should be one idol that we all follow, of course, and that's what Christ is doing. That's the biggest one. No, Sinners, you're totally fine, dude. You did not do anything. You're totally cool at all. Yeah, we're not. I think Lily said, but we're not called to be divisive. Let's go ahead and turn the ship back. I don't think it was bad, but it was definitely one of those. It's like, man, we did it. I don't. Yeah. So thank you for everyone letting me have my thing on my stream. So I hope no one actually felt divisive there because I tried not to. We're all under the same banner here. I love you all definitely. A pastor's heart is to love and disciple people and not just gain more knowledge. Ooh, that's a good one there. I think staying on the idolatry thing, you talked about the pastor's heart. I do think the title of pastor can be somewhat of one. Good morning, Shades. How are you? What's up,
Shades.
dude? So good one there. I think so. We're talking about idolatry in the streaming world right now, and I think it's definitely one of those things that it can be one of those. I've met guys like that. Like, coming from a seminary background, I've met dudes who are so big on just being a pastor. That's the thing. It's like, that is my title. I'm above you guys. Like, I don't know if you guys have experienced kind of that. I don't know. Kathy, I'd love to hear your experience, because I know there's only so much in your area. I don't know if you've ever encountered that at all, or if it's just something online you've seen.
Most of the things I've seen about Christians are online, besides, the usual Roman Catholic here and there, aka my family.
I got you. I
Sorry,
know
the
we're.
teacher asked me a question.
Are you in class right now?
Yes.
Kathy, what are you doing?
It's English class. You're talking about vacuums again.
I don't know if I can endorse you keeping joining my streams when you're in the middle of class here. Like
It's
like
English class.
I asked it. You're. I mean, I kind of feel bad. I should have checked with you because you were all like, "Oh yeah, I could do Friday morning."
I got the Friday morning.
Let's
That's why
see.
we said Friday morning because it's English class.
Okay. Oh no, Lily. No reason to apologize. I know what you meant. You said no. I'm sorry. I
Um.
meant that Nosh can make us divided, but we aren't called to be that. No worry. Okay. No, I knew exactly what you're talking about. You're totally cool. Like you're
Yeah.
totally cool. You know, talking about the community, I think that is the best thing I've loved about being, meeting all these guys in AOG, GFC, Unashamed Network, is that we all come from different backgrounds, but we don't talk about that. I mean, there's some who do, of course, but we're very big on, we're all just following Christ. We're all trying to direct what he's doing. We're all trying to be, people view his image, not us. I think that's what I love
Yeah.
about that, is there's that love of that. You don't see a lot of that. And I think that's what's the best. Let's see. Lily, for our church, people can get caught up in just wanting to be on staff in general. Oh my gosh, Lily said you
got me,
speak.
bro.
Not wrong. You are speaking English. That's true.
I am speaking English.
Yeah, that is true. So
To be true.
that I've seen that a lot. I see that in so many places actually, of just people just wanting to be on staff, especially the bigger the church, like the more openings they are. So that's and that's something I've loved about that, is you don't see that in a lot, and that's what I like about AOG and all. It's like we're one body. We're just one body of believers who are wanting to serve, and I think the best
Dude,
part I've
AOG
liked
is so
about
much
it.
fun.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting topic to discuss. Oh yeah, Shade. So one thing we're talking about idolatry, but of course, as always, we go down the rabbit hole. Something I was thinking about is, of course, when it comes to idolatry and it's streaming, of course, there's a lot of things it can be. It could be playing this game. It can be showing off my skills, showing how great I am on stream. It can be making my stream desk. That's a big one we can all relate. If I get an AO in the chat for everybody, how we get obsessed with our stream desk and making sure it's immaculate, just the way we like it. And of course, the big one we all talk about is the numbers game. That's a huge thing, is the numbers
100%.
game. And we were talking about a second ago, was like the idea of Shades. You'd probably know this as well. Sinners know it. Lily knows it. Wordy knows it. We're talking a lot about Wordy. Oh yeah, I'm so cracked at this game. A big thing you hear is
Some bad fucker you did.
I can't watch those streamers who are just like, look how great I am. A big like look at me being just amazing. That's no, I can't
Look at me,
do that.
look at me.
I know I'm not about that life, but it's the numbers game. That's a huge one there too. It's just how obsessive we get over that. Like when you think about it, that's why when I was planning this one today, Twitch has so many little plot holes that we can fall into of accidentally losing focus of what we do. And that's a real thing. Like, especially I'm a very, like, the reason I did is because I'm a very single-minded focused person. When I get caught on a task, I'm gonna do it. Like, that is my thing. Like, and I go
Like
through
one time
seasons.
you wrote an essay like 2 hours before the deadline.
What was that?
Like the one time you wrote like an essay 2 hours before the deadline.
Oh yeah, there was that. Well, that was me not understanding the dates. Let's see. We got Shades here. I did hear a joke from a secular stand-up comedian regarding some pastors being egotistical with loving hearing themselves talk and having massive people follow them and whatnot. That's a thing. That is a thing. And I think the biggest thing with idolatry, especially in the Twitch game, I think we can all sum up this whole conversation very well. We're not, at least I'm not planning on ending anytime soon, is we get caught up in ourselves. We get caught up in what we are doing. We get caught up in the I. How am I looking? How am I doing? Is my stuff great? It's very much. Let's see. All I know is a joke, and that person wasn't a Christian. It did make me ponder on motives of some pastors in America. 100%. 100%. Let's see. Wordy, gotta go. Glad we could chat for a bit. All right. So thank you, Larry. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one. Definitely appreciate your input, man. That's awesome. That's a thing. And so I was actually talking to a friend about this just last night. Right after I got off gaming with Gilbert. I was playing Overwatch with him last night, and that was so much fun.
Nice.
So shout out to Gilbert, guys. That guy is super cool. So one thing I was thinking about, we were talking about just the idea of like us and how central we get in and how we're so caught up in the convenience of it. So we're going to take a side step away from idolatry a bit, but I think it's kind of related to it. Especially in the area of Twitch, we get so much of the I. We get so much of the me. Look at me. Look at me. And let's be honest, we've all done it. We're sometimes afraid of offending people. Sometimes we are, but as people proclaim the gospel, that's going to be a reality. We're all going to get the tough questions. I'm going to get the tough questions. I've gotten the tough questions. DJ, I've been part of yours where you get the tough questions. We're not going to mention those. We all know what they are, but
Yeah.
that's a thing we get. And sometimes we're afraid to be honest because we don't want to offend people. That's a thing. And I remember I don't know why, 2 days ago, I was watching somebody else and I immediately was thinking about what if I was in this scenario. And I was like, well, sometimes you got to make the safe answer and just kind of be like, well, I don't want to, I'll be like, well, message me in private or something. We can talk about it. I don't want to say it on stream because what if I get my channel shut down? And in my mind, I'm like, well, if I get my channel shut down, then I can't share the gospel, yada, yada, yada. And then immediately, like an hour later, I'm like, dude, like, if that's the case, then that's the case. That's the cost of what it be sometimes. Like, I think of every people overseas, like my next door neighbor, she's a missionary. And we were talking about how in America, sometimes the comfort aspect really makes us a little too much. Like, we're like, oh, we're afraid of a little bad publicity. Well, like, there are some countries in the world where children, when they proclaim the name of Christ and they say, Jesus is my Lord and Savior, they are disowned from their families. Like, they are disowned. Like, we are never going to speak and hear to you again. And sometimes we're afraid of saying one wrong thing in our chat and getting our channel shut down. And here, these people are disowned by family, no support, nothing. Like, how can we really be so afraid when stuff like that? We got a lot going on here. Let's see.
Yeah.
We got the good doctor says, yeah, people do get pointed to you or him. Anyone with a platform could definitely get like that. And because of social media, we all have platforms capable of being abused, which is what makes today so wild. Her shade just
100%.
be like, amen, indeed. That's hard. That's difficult. But I think sometimes that's where you need to stand firm in it. And I think that's what kind of separates those who care more about, you know, looking like the Christian rather than being one, is sometimes having to have the hard discussion, having to be like, hey, look, I'm sorry, this is going to offend you, but this is something that's real. This is a big one, especially because there's so much out there that's Twitch that is kind of, you know, secular to say the best. That's why I love the Christian community. It's kind of sometimes a safe haven where we can all be encouraged. We can all spend time together. We can be like, okay, this is, you know, this is where I can be. And I think it's good for us to be able to do that. Personally, I was talking, I think it was Shades was talking about this one time. She's talking about some pastor made a statement about having to change how we approach things with just the Christian tag. And personally, I believe that it's good for us to support each other. Like, if I see someone online who I know is a believer, I tune in because I know, like, the more that count goes up, the more the viewer count goes up, the more likely someone who may not be a believer may be able to come in. And that's kind of my personal belief, and I stand by it. I will die on that hill. Okay, DJ, you've been quiet. Give your 2 cents.
I mean, you've been doing the points that I want to make, so I don't really have one.
Well, this is the part where you can kind of be like, well, here's my experience, and I completely agree with you.
Oh, well, here's my experience. Please agree with me. No, just kidding.
Oh, please, not I complain, but please agree.
Please agree. No, I've had like people ask questions, and I don't. Yes, there's the risk. I don't think I've ever thought of the risk of getting my channel deleted, but I have heard of people like asking something like LGBTQ or something like that, and
there it is. There's the big one.
Saying,
it was only a matter of time before it came in.
You're welcome. It was a pastor that was streaming, and the pastor like saying something, and they clipped just the part. You know what I mean? So like they'll clip out everything else like he said, just clip the part where he says the LGBTQ is a sin. You know what I mean? Like loving a man loving another man, that's a sin. And then we just clip that instead of everything and including the part where he said that he loves them like no matter what because Jesus loved me. You know what I mean? Like they will like completely cut out everything and just leave the part with no context. And that's I feel like that's what kind of sucks because it's just like, man, he didn't do anything wrong or anything, and nothing happened really, but the clip was there. You know what I mean? Like people saw that clip, and it's they just take things out of context, and it's messed up.
Yeah, it's such a hard thing because it is challenging. It's difficult. You never know. You never know who's gonna come in, but I think that's the thing we have to try to do is kind of remain steadfast and rooted in the word and not let the little things just obsess over or like keep us awake at night. We can't let the things, the numbers doing it or anything like that. Like those are things we need to as believers, I think we really need to focus more. Well, it's not more. I think everybody in the Christian community does a great job of this. Like, I really don't know anyone who, like, everyone's just so open, and I think that's what likes about it. I think that's what I like about this conversation is that we're acknowledging, hey, this is a pitfall. This is something we're very capable of doing, and it's happened to me, and it will happen to me probably again in the future, is just that reality of we just get so caught up in, like, you know, the cool colored lights and everything like that, when at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we need to be, you know, what we're called to be ministers. If you're, I hate to break it to you, anyone watching, if you're a minister, if you call yourself a Christian, you're a minister. Congratulations. Welcome.
You made it.
So-
Welcome. Let's go.
Yeah, welcome. All right, give it up for everybody out there. If you're a Christian, you're a minister. So that's the thing. That is a thing that we are going to do. And if we proclaim that that's the goal, well, then sometimes that's the hard part, is having to put those things aside and just really focus on being a light in those areas. Like,
Yeah.
especially, like, this topic of idolatry kind of came at a good time, because I feel like it came at a time where it's not prevalent right now. Because I think of the last 2 weeks with this whole charity stream, the Bring Internet to Bolivia thing, that is so awesome to kind of see that. Like, I was talking to Gilbert last night about it, about just seeing so many people I know who are taking aside any potential financial gain they could get from it, and are immediately like, I want to help something bigger than myself. Like, I feel just blessed just
so
to
much
know
fun.
you. I feel blessed just to know you guys, especially because of, like, when you think about it, when the minute you put charity stream up, immediately, like, people passing by are red flags. Like,
Willie.
I want to see this. Oh yeah, Willie's passing by, everybody. So immediately, like, people are gonna want to tune in. That's automatic gonna do it. And the fact that everybody was so firm and shared, it was like so ready to share Christ in that moment. That was awesome. And I'm just so blessed to know every single one of you guys who took part in that. And I think that's such a cool thing to see, is people who are really ready to direct everyone towards Christ in that moment. And I think to show God's love in that moment. That was
Yeah.
so encouraging. Lily PhD puts ambassadors of Christ. Yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing, everyone. That's definitely a real thing we got going on. So
Dude, I love doing charity streams, especially during Christmas time, dude. Last year, I found this charity. I found it on TV. I was watching TV with my mom, and this ad comes up about like a post office. They were doing this thing where they accepted children who are struggling financially, or the families are struggling financially. Children that sent letters to Santa Claus for Christmas. And you can read these letters, and you can see these kids' drawings and what they want. And you can just say, hey, I'm gonna get you that. And then go to their home and give them the gift. And like,
Oh,
here you go,
that's-
Santa send you this. And,
that
I
is-
did that, and it was, dude, it was so much fun, and I enjoyed it. And like, and I got to meet this, so like, I go on the website. I'm
whoopsie.
like, I'm looking for a bigger kid, because like, I feel like a lot of people will give to, like, I don't know, a baby or a 3-year-old that, oh, so cute, he drew like Spider-Man or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, dude, I want to give to a bigger kid that maybe doesn't get chosen. So I was looking through them, and I find this boy who wrote down this note. His name was Aiden,
Mm-hmm.
and I click on it, and I couldn't even read the letter because he like wrote it himself, so like I could barely read it. But he said he
Gotcha.
wanted a skateboard to play with his friends in the corner, like that's like in the corner of the street. Like that's what he wanted. He wanted a skateboard to play with his friends. Like he like drew the skateboard and everything. I was like, dude, this is the kid. I'm gonna get him a skateboard. So like I get in contact with his mother and stuff, and I talk to her, and she tells me that her other son also put a letter, and I'm like, bruh, there's no way I'm getting his brother a skateboard, and I'm not getting this kid his stuff. So like I go and I find his letter, because like
I remember this. I remember you did this.
there's no the only issue is there's no like a way that I can search for the name. I just have to go through all the letters. So I went through all the letters until I found Jacob, dude. I went through all the letters until I found Jacob. And Jacob wanted a drum set, which I wasn't like, I was not gonna be able to get him a drum set. But he also wanted an RC card. I was like, dude, I can get him that. I can get him a remote control card, bet. And I didn't like, because there's like a way that you can click it so that it'll be like, okay, you're getting him the gift. I didn't click that. I just told his mom, hey, I'm gonna buy him this. I can't buy him the drum kit, because like I didn't want to like commit for the drum kit. And I did a charity stream and everything. And not only was I able to get them their gifts, but I also had extra money to get them extra stuff. So like I bought them a water slide, Like I bought
Dude.
them candy, dude. I just hooked it up. I bought them water guns because like I asked her like what's something that they like to do together, and they said they like to play with water. So I got them like water guns. I got them a water slide. I bought candy. Like I gave them everything. Like here you go, have fun. It was so much fun, dude. And I got to meet the family, and it was.
That is
I enjoyed it.
awesome. I love
I'm
hearing things like
totally
that.
doing it again this year.
We got tears in the chat. We got tears in the chat of like that's amazing. Look what
Dude,
that is the
it's
goal.
so much fun. Like, I don't know who came up with that charity, but it's so much fun.
Oh,
And
that
I loved, like I was able to do something for my country because I always did like charities. Like I did Extra Life last year, and it was like for people in the U.S. And then I've been doing like charities for people in the U.S. and I wanted to do something for my country. I was like, dude, what do I do? And I found that, and it was fun.
that is so exciting. I love hearing things like that. To see what God is
so
doing.
cool.
Like
And
I was talking.
always underestimate my community. Like,
I was talking to the dean of my school the other day because he found out about I stream on Twitch, and he's like, I want to know more about that. And he was like super supportive of it. Like it's so exciting. And I'd say this every stream at least once. Who's to say God cannot use video games to move? Like who says
100%.
he can't? Yeah, like that is a real thing. That if I ever get to the point where I'm selling merch, that's gonna be like the #1 T-shirt. Is who says God can't use video games? Right after vote for Pedro, cross out Pedro, and put my real name. So that's
I'm in Chile, South America.